Imagine a circle. Imagine 12 points on that circle. You unlock this circle with the keys of your imagination. Beyond is another dimension. A dimension of sound, of emotion, of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of feelings and ideas. You've just waded into the Sonic Deep. We hope you enjoy your stay. Here's your host, Mr. Andlu.
All right. This is the Sonic Deep. We are back with you again for another episode. And finally, I've gotten my good friend Alex into the studio. Last week we had a little issue with traffic. And so we're doing this pre-recorded. If you're listening to this live on the air, I highly encourage you to go to Ustream because one of the great things that Alex does is he helps you to relate to music through all kinds of shapes and colors and fun things like that. So it's well worth going there and seeing what he has to offer in the way of visual aids. However, if you're just listening to it on the radio, we'll do our best to explain things as well as we can, whatnot. So here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, one of my very close friends now, Mr. Alex Sioris. How have you been, sir?
Very, very, very well, Jason. Thank you once again for inviting me. And I have to tell you, it feels rather good because, as you said, we got a lot of things to talk about, and it's going to be a pleasure again.
Indeed. And I have to turn my gosh darn phone off while we're recording. That's okay. What I wanted to do, since this is the first time we have gotten back together and had video, the first time we've ever had video, I kind of want to start off at the beginning and explain why Alex Sioris is such a special man and have him explain what he has done. Alex Sioris came to me, or I came to Alex quite a while ago, a couple of years now. I used to buy guitars and whatnot off of him, met him, and eventually got into his confidence enough that he took me into his back room of his music shop. And when I walked in, I saw the most incredible thing I'd ever seen before. His back room was filled with all kinds of graphics, all kinds of pictures that he had hand-drawn, and all related to music, but not in the way you think. And he then went on to spend an hour blowing my mind, after which I got off the phone went and got on the phone and went crazy to my then fiance, now wife, about how I just met the most amazing man in the world, and he's an absolute genius, and he blew my mind about music. So that's what I want him to do for you, since I have such a hard time doing it. So, Alex, why don't you tell everybody what Echometry is? Okay. What have you done?
Okay. We're going to go straight to the point, since we've done it before and we know we can do it again. I'd like to tell you that a long time ago I came to the States to study music. I'm a person that was raised and educated in another country, and that country is Greece. And in Greece, the word musiki, armonia, melodia, kithara, that is the guitar, chordi, that is your chord, rhythmos, and a plethora of similar terms happen to be commonplace, and they don't have to be translated to me. So imagine my big surprise when I came to America. I went to a beautiful school in Chicago called the American Conservatory of Music, and I found out that every American teacher was trying to teach the Greek boy what the Greek words meant. That was fun. So after a few weeks, they had me going from different story of the building to tell everybody what those Greek words meant. So I'm going to go right to the point. Everybody who thinks that music means something, I would like to ask you to go to your computer and just dial in the search engine music, and you'll see that everybody's logo about their CDs, about their records, about their productions, or any kind of studio will come out but that's not what music is, right? So basically, music is a misunderstood word. I'd like to tell you where it comes from. Muse, in Greek, musa, means a beautiful girl. Now, we had about 9 of them that maintained their beauty through eternity. I'm going to mention some of them: Aspasia, Lito, Terpsichori, Melpomene, Eraton, Clio. I'm not going to tell you all of them, so you can go now to the computer, find the rest of them.
Go Google it.
Now, yes. So what happens, those beautiful girls had absolutely nothing to do with the music, but one of them was supposed to be the inspiration that the young boys, probably, of those days would get inspired by her beauty. So anybody that was playing, let's say things like this, the old days, this could probably be dedicated to Clio. right. And this, that would be dedicated to Terpsichori. By the way, Terpsichori, which means the girl that dances, and through her dance, the people are pleased. Terpsis is happiness, and choros is the dance. All the Greek names mean something. My name, Alexandros, means something. Your name, Iason, Jason, means something. Google it.
right.
So I was telling you that the muses and the sound have nothing in common. So therefore, if all of you folks would like to know what music is, don't Google the word music, please. Just stay away from that. But if you like to know what really happens in our head, I got good news for you. There's 2 important words that the Greeks use where all music originated. One of them is called ichos, and it means sound. And there is another one called phoni, like phonetics, telephone,
right.
And it means the voice. So every human person has a phoni. Now, the instruments, the guitar has this kind of phoni. Now, that was the guitar phony, η φωνή της κιθάρας. Now, you're listening to the voice of Alex, η φωνή του Alexandru. So as you understand, if you'd like to know anything about what your ears are hearing, you better get used to the concept that ichos means phony. When you measure the sound, metron means measure. Echometry is a new science which I'm trying to promote for the world to know. And it is a new science that has to do with the way that the human intellect perceives phones, sounds of the musical instruments. So if you'd like to know what echometry means, that's what I would like to preach to you about today. Happily, it's not a religion, so don't worry. You don't have to change your religious beliefs, but definitely it's going to shake the way that you thought that music works in the human brain. So, here it goes.
All right. Here we go.
Music is a succession of 12 phones that are neighboring in nature, and on the guitar, they sound like this. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you just heard the 12 voices of this instrument that we call it guitar, chitarra. Now, when those 12 things try to be calculated in our brain, the brain breaks down because 12 is a big number. Feel how many times in your life did you try to calculate 12 things happening at the same time? It never happened.
Yeah.
So you find out that our mind is actually unifocal, and most of the times we can only concentrate on one sound happening per occasion. That's why when you're talking to someone and somebody interrupts, the first thing you say, shut up, please. I'm trying to talk to him, which means one voice, please, only. But look what happens with the guitar or any instrument. The instruments, as you notice, listen to this now. Listen to all of them. You see, there are more than one.
Right.
And when more than one shows up in our mind, the mind sparks up and says, I love it. What is it? Let me tell you what we hear, and we call it, sadly, music, but happily it is hijos. So the hijos of the guitar, when the 12 things happen, they have this kind of sound. I'm going to make an effort to divide those 12s by 2. I'm going to play you the first and the seventh. We're breaking the 12 down in 2 pieces. There is 1, there is 7, there is 1, there is 7. Listen how it behaves in our ears. Kind of awkward.
Dissonant, yeah, very dissonant.
We'll call it dissonant. Let's say even, because it's 2 times 6. Now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to play you 6 times 2. Listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it sounds like this. Now try to sing with it. It's impossible because the mind refuses to calculate evenness within the number 12. Now I'll give you another couple of examples so you don't think that I'm hallucinating. Now I'm going to do 4 threes. There is 4 threes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. It sounds like this. 1 fourth, second fourth, third fourth, fourth fourth. It sounds like this. If I made a little mistake, you understand? I was trying to point out to you kind of hastily what 4 times 3 sounds. And let's do now the opposite. I'm going to play 3 times 4. This is the first fourth, the second, the third. All of them represent a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to play 1, 5, 9. 1, 5, 9. This is the sound. I just presented to you all the dividends, the divisors, you say, divisors, how do you call it?
Multiples.
Okay, all the things that divide 12 nicely. The only thing we didn't do, I divided 12 by 2, and it brought 6. I divided 12 by 6, and I brought 2. I divided 12 by 4, it brings 3. And by 3 brings 4.
Right.
Okay, now I'm going to divide 12 by 12. It brings 1. It's called monotony. If I keep doing this for a while, your audience will verschwinden, will disappear. Okay? That's called monotony, and it has been exported to every part of our life. So if anything is boring, it's monotonous, which means monos tonos, one sound only. Okay? So what is left to call it music? If you take any of those shapes, I'm going to take the 3 times 4, which is your, it's called a triangle in my system, and you can see it somewhere. We'll see it soon. There is a triangle. 3 times 3 fourths. When 12 is divided by 4, it brings 3 times 4. Listen, 4. I'm going to change it to, when you kill the symmetry, now I'm going to do it somewhere else. Look. You see, if I do anything to those 3 even notes, the mind says thank you. So welcome to a certain reality, dear audience. Music is nothing but asymmetry within the number 12. So you can call it flat 5, sharp 4, minus 13th, superimposed thirds, fourths. It's all a bunch of terms that make no sense. In reality, music is nothing but simple forms of mathematics. So now that we know that music is nothing but 12 notes, you understand that if we were to demonstrate it to somebody without the instrument, we need a circle with 12 things. Before I show you my circle, I'll tell you what another person did in some distant place in the world. They actually did this. Can you tell?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, that is I'm getting it. Hold it over here. That is the traditional way of looking at these.
That you see that instead of the number 12, they have placed there a whole bunch of hieroglyphics.
Yes.
What do you think that?
C, G,
now,
D,
regardless of how many hieroglyphs, can you see that they are all located on 12 positions?
Right.
Can you tell us also that this is a
just
clock?
like a clock.
Who would ever borrow the clock's positions to create a musical system? I thought it was me, but you see, they already tried to do it.
But it didn't work out very well,
It didn't work out. Okay. So look what happened. This clock is the proof that the system of teaching music right now all over the world is desperately trying to get out of it. And they said, come on, man, there has to be an easier way. And look what they did. They took a clock. I'll tell you what.
And I'll tell you what, what's really interesting is that it's not just the outside, but it takes the inside to name them all. And this was something that we were discussing before that you and I were discussing how many symbols there really are to describe music in traditional music theory.
Minimum 17, maximum 35.
Different symbols.
Traditional music uses two ways to expose the musical information to their students. One of them is, I call it the limping alphabet, because if you take the American alphabet, which used to be Greek, the good old days, and if you subtract out of the 26 letters of the alphabet, if you subtract 19, throw them in the garbage, and you keep the first 7, A, B, C, D, F, G, instantly your mind shuts off, because obviously you cannot compute human language using only 7 out of 26 alphabetical characters.
Right.
So there we have it. That's the big fallacy. Now, because that obviously didn't work, somebody called, they called over to Italy, they called the Pope, and they said, Pope, help. The musical system doesn't really work. He says, worry not, I have a poem here. It's Dominus Rex Bru, and they call it Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do.
Right.
It's nothing but the first syllables out of a beautiful religious poem. I'm sure that every kid that sings that Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do, they feel so good. But what does it mean? Crap, nothing.
Right.
So look what happens. If you take a mathematical sequence, which really the music is. Now let me tell you what I just said. If you like to know what the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, it sounds like this. And that's all it is. When you play 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 out of that clock I just showed you, instantly it turns into music to your ears. It is nothing but 7 points out of 12 in a very specific mathematical order. If you dare to ignore the mathematical order and try to remember that there were 7, for example, and you call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you created the biggest fallacy, the biggest logical fallacy that all of us experienced when we went to school the first day, is that some person that was not particularly, if I may say, observing,
right,
made the biggest mistake to teach us the wrong process about understanding music. If this is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, then I am the Archbishop of Zimbabwe. and I accept the title. But if it's not, I am not. Now look what happens. Take any key. Key, by the way, in music doesn't exist. But we'll use that term nicely just so that we don't get to
humor some people.
Disagree. We don't get to be disliked right away. Having heretic thoughts on such a beautiful and so deep of a subject. So let's say we like to play something from here. Let's call that number 1. There's the number 2. We pass over it. We play number 3. Pass over number 5, play 4, and play number 5. Number 6, 8, 10, 12. Back to 1. You heard this. Now, if you roll over it any way you want, what you just did, you played 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12. The mind instantly recognizes the math within the heptagon that you're just describing to us. And instantly the mind says, hey, I know that one.
It's amazing. We have to go to a quick break, but we'll be right back with more. So everybody, just stick around because there's lots of cool stuff coming up.
We'll be right back with more after this.
Always Perfect Pool and Spa started in 1995, offering exclusively residential services. Since that time, we have expanded and grown to include service to anything with water, except aquariums, professional cleaning, repair, and installations for Southern California. Call us at 818-613-7326 or visit us online at alwaysperfectpools.com.
Are you looking for professional search engine optimization for you and your business? Look no further. Announcing Keyword Search Pros. KSP has been optimizing sites for years and knows how to increase your website's visibility and ranking. Their expert team will take you step by step and get the best possible results within your budget. And the outcome is always more visitors and increased traffic. Stop by their website and sign up for a free Google AdWords evaluation. For complete information on search engine optimization and pay-per-click management, visit keywordsearchpros.com.
And we're back. So,
All right.
Okay.
So where do we leave off?
We left off talking about what a commonly known scale is. A scale is nothing but 7 points out of the number 12 in a very specific mathematical order. If that is to be understood before the people buy their instruments, that would facilitate their getting together with their instrument and playing something nice. So you understand that music is nothing but very, very simple mathematics that have to deal with the number 12. We did speak about 12 before, but I'm going to make a short break on that subject once again. And I'll tell you what it is. 12 hours in a day and 12 hours in a night, 12 months in the year, 5 times 12 a minute and 5 times 12 an hour could not be a coincidence. The 12 gods of Greece and the 12 apostles of Christianity, the 12 tribes of Israel and the 12 good deeds of Hercules could not be an accident.
Not only that, but I learned this one the other day. 12 cerebral veins, or nerves, rather. It's 12 cerebral nerves. So 12 nerves in your head.
I tell you what.
What's that all
I
about?
just heard the most kind of captivating dozenic event of the last few months is that they had a very nice experiment in Switzerland where they were looking for the Higgins bosonium, whatever they call it. They had 12...
Higgs boson.
Yes, they had 12 things going with speed around that accelerator. 12. Mm-hmm. They were trying to find the particle of God.
Right.
Now, that cannot be a coincidence, but let's go to easier things. There's 12 carats in gold and 24 carats. There is 12 in music. There is 12... in everything.
Yeah.
A dozen eggs suggests 12. Why couldn't it be 11 eggs in a basket?
Huh. Why not 13?
Okay.
Bakers like 13.
I tell you what. So basically the answer is easy. The 12 is the only number that holds within its being there 6 divisors, how you call it. We call it diaretes in Greek. So I used to call it dividends. You can be divided by 6 numbers. That is the most comfortable number in the universe of simple numbers that our mind loves 12. So basically, music is the sound divided by 12. An instrument is not an instrument before the instrument maker will put the 11 frets to create 12 sounds on the guitar.
Right.
You see? So basically, I would like to announce to the world that music is nothing but any sound that has been divided evenly by 12 produces musical response from our brain. So the 12 is too much. Let's see where the brain starts getting interested. Remember, 1 is monotony. Let's see what happens when you play 2. Listen, how pretty 2 is. That was 2.
Beautiful.
Let's see 3. Let's see 3 again. Listen. These are 3.
Right.
There is 1. Again. There is another one. And there is 2 of these. Okay, and there is the last one. You see, even the 6 strings of the guitar always produce threesomes.
Right.
Because threesome is a beautiful thing, that's why most people do this. 3 out of 12, 3 out of 12, 3 out of 12, 3 out of 12. You see, I'm going to play you a few threesomes so we can break the monotony. Listen, 3. 3. 3. Those were 3s. Would you like to hear
So
4s?
beautiful.
Listen, 4s.
Yes.
One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see? That's how it works.
Yeah.
So our mind computes. Start from 2. We already on 4. Let me do you some 5s now. This is your favorite part because everybody plays 5s. Listen to some 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about 6? 6. But this, remember, that was a symmetric 6. How about asymmetric 6? How about 7? Different 7. But different 7. Blue, black. How about some red?
Now, I don't think we've really talked about the colors yet here.
Okay.
We have to tell them about the colors.
And we're getting there. So what
Only you and I know what you're talking about when you say blue.
What I was
Red.
doing, and I was kind of teasing all of you,
Yes.
is that basically, after we examine our mathematics, after we examine our threesomes that commonly are called triads, they're called basic chords in your chord books. Those threesomes end up being 4 categories, which happen to be actually 2. Two of them are symmetric. One of them is there. And the other one is, you call it diminished triad and augmented triad. How sad are those names, and how disorienting, because all it is two triangles that are absolutely symmetric. One is the equilateral triangle, that you call it augmented, and the other one is isosceles. Those, we're going to show them one day on the map too. And then we have the uneven triangles, which is the red one. I call it major. The green is the minor. There is green, red, blue, black. And with those four elements, all of you people who write songs, you're using those four elements that I call them feelings, because behind the mathematics of the brain, there is a whole bunch of feelings, and those feelings are not random. They're not, let's say, the result of a cultural upbringing, but all of us, all over the world, everybody who has a brain with the basic thinking capacity is being impressed the same way. So when we hear red, which is major, we get happy. When this becomes green, we get melancholic. When it becomes blue, we kind of lose it. When it gets black, it becomes a little bit scary. So basically, behind our feelings, there is a mind function that is very relevant, relative to what we're listening, what mathematics are taking place in our head. Now, the head thinks very fast. Our head thinks with the speed of light, as I like to say, although I cannot prove it. You notice that we are talking right now, and
no, I actually think that is right, because your brain basically is a bunch of firing neurons, and all neurons are little electrical pulses. Electricity is light, at least as fast as electricity.
The thing is that there are certain statements I make that I always say that I cannot prove them, but I believe them to be true.
Yeah.
This is one of them. Our mind speeds up in such speeds that unless you slow down the musical process, you will never understand why what you call music has been so evasive all over the world. Now, one of the things I like to tell people, so I don't sound so arrogant, really, Echometry is the only effort of anybody among the 7 billion people that I know that has to do with trying to find out what does the brain do when we listen to the different musical, mathematical forms.
Right.
And if you dare to come and tell me now a flat 5 and a sharp 7 and a dominant chord and the minor, that will take away. It is absolutely impossible to function logically within a music classroom.
Right.
First, I would like to tell you about the fake word that's suggesting the word octave. So 12 are the notes. So when they pick up the first and they go 13 notes apart, they call it octave. Somebody is sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
Between
octave is
suggests
8.
Ocho.
And octo. That's
Octo
8.
Being...
What does 8 have to do with 13?
Very good.
Or the 12?
Actually.
The actual 12 notes that we're actually dealing with.
They have that bad habit. When they play 7 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say they made a mistake and they call the beginning of the new 7, 8. But when they play 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, why would this an octave? This is a number 6. Yeah. When you play a chord, 1, 2, 3, what is this an octave? This is number 4.
Yeah,
you see.
Makes no sense.
So basically, I'll give you another word. The word scale. La scala in Italian means a ladder. When somebody who lives downstairs wants to go upstairs in Italy, they look for La Scala. When they find it, they climb on it and they go to the second floor. The guitar has no scalas in it. The guitar has mathematical orders within the number 12. I'll give you a few of them. 158, all over the guitars, 3 times and a half. 158, 158, 158, 158. Did you hear it? This is how the 58 makes you happy. Listen to this. This is the red 158. Now I'm going to turn it into 148. See how you change the mood right away? Would you like to know that Echometry is the only study of music worldwide that will give you the real proof why major sounds happy and minor sounds not so happy? There has to be something specific that happens in the human intellect that the intellect says, no, I'm not going to get this one. This is too sad. Give me this one.
Right.
And I'm not going to get this one.
We do that world over. That's
listen to this. I'm not going to get this one because it sounds kind of, let me see. I'm going to take this one. And I'm not going to take this one. I'm going to take this one. Why? Out of the 4 triangles, the red, the major, sounds happier. There's a happy. There's a melancholic. There's kind of ridiculous. And then augmented. Why? I know. I'm not going to tell you today because I want to keep you in some kind of a... All I'm trying to tell you is that Echometry has got answers that has never been publicly announced before. And we're going to take the opportunity soon enough, within a few shows we have planned here with Jason, to actually announce a lot of beautiful things that have to do about that beautiful game that we call it music. That Echometry suggests that music is a mind game. The intellect interacts with the divisors or the non-dividing numbers of number 12 and produces feelings. Yes, music is specific feelings. So anybody who wishes to become so-called musician has to know how those feelings are being perceived by the brain and what is, anyway, the brain doing when music is being played.
It's beautiful. And we're gonna be able to get into all of that. We're going to take a real quick break, and then when we come back, more fun stuff with Alex. So y'all just stick around and enjoy the show. All right. Good times. If it'll start, that happens sometimes.
Move off. We'll be right back with more after this.
Ever wanted to know how music really works? Revolutionary musical scientist and mathematician Alex Sioris is breaking new ground with his incredible new insights into music and the way the brain thinks. With colors, shapes, and numbers, Alex has been able to unlock the secrets of music that traditional music theory is shrouded in mystery for hundreds of years. Learn the secrets of chord theory, scales, and so much more in a simple musical circle. Now you can get a glimpse of Echometry in the form of an easy-to-use musical cookbook on your iPhone. Visit iTunes App Store now and do a search for Echometry or visit echometry.com. ECHOMETRY.com. Echometry, because music theory is a convoluted bitch.
Reduce your pet's carbon paw print with eco-friendly grooming, bathing, clipping, and much more. They are your complete mobile grooming service. Eco Paw Spa. They're passionate about making your pets look great and seeing their customers smile. So what are you waiting for? Call 877-ECO-SPA. That's 877-432-6772. Or visit them online at ecopawspa.com.
And we're back. So, where did we leave off?
We are back.
It's on
Whoa, sorry about that. We are back, and so basically, we're talking about echometry here with Alex Sioris, and we are discussing right now what exactly music is, and I think that one of the biggest questions one of those trick questions they give you when you're learning music is what is music, and then they basically go on to say, well, we can't really define music. I mean, it's basically say it's the best answer is it's what sounds good to me, and now that's ridiculous. So let's get a little more clear on what music is.
Okay. First, I'd like to tell you that all of our friends who teach and might be listening right now, I know that they are very honest people and they're doing their best. I would like to tell everybody that I forgot to tell you about my background. My father was playing violin before I was born, and he played up to the day that I left Greece to come to America. And for some reason, he gave me a lot of insight about music. And the only thing he taught me was that music is mathematics. So on that basis, on my father's tradition and teachings, I would rather show you a few drawings that I created to make people understand. And I hope that this is going to help you realize the depth of echometry. So let's go on my board here.
Very good.
Out here it says, so what is music? As you understand, we have a cello or a violin here. We have a guitar here and a banjo and a harmonica. We have a flute and a pan flute. And of course, here we have a piano. I like to tell you that all of them are nothing but printers. They print mathematical orders in your mind. So when I pick up the guitar and play, I'm printing things that I already know. You can never play, that's a word I don't like to use, but we can never play music by accident. So if you like to actually organize your musical thoughts, I like to tell you what music looks like in our head. Let's say that this is 12 consecutive notes on your piano. It will sound like this. And you understand, I cannot do that with my, but you understand. So if you understand that this is what you call an octave, remember, an octave is a number 12. There is 12. When you divide the size of the frequency by half, and you take half of the diameter, and you create a new octave, then you see what the piano really suggests to our mind. Half is here. Half of this is here. Half of this is here. Half of this is here. The mind will allow you to divide this humongous frequency 7 times before it refuses to accept it as music. So when you take the guitar and you're playing the frequencies all the way to the top and they sound like this, that we cannot call it music because we cannot distinguish the position of the 12 consecutive different notes. So here we have 12, 12, 12, 12. What is the ratio between the so-called octaves? What is the ratio between the dozen notes that is consecutive on the piano? The piano has lowest octave. They call this bass or baritone. Then they go to tenor, they go to soprano, they go to mezzo-soprano, and all kinds of different names. But in reality, you divide the original octave 7 times before the mind cannot do any more divisions because the octave becomes so small that the ear refuses to calculate it. So here we have the piccolo flutes. Here we have the upright bass. From here on, we have the guitar. Can you see how the guitar works? The guitar has 3.5 dozens. So if you measure how many frets are on your guitar, guys, you'll find out that they have about maybe 24 frets. But that means that you have maximum 48 notes.
Right.
4 octaves, 4 times 12. But most guitars are not 24 frets. They're about 18, 19. Okay, so an average guitar will bring about 40, 42 notes. Now, all the instruments have something in common. They can print dozenic musical systems, and that's all they do. So we don't listen to violin. We don't listen to violin or guitar or piano. We're listening to the data that is printed on different printers.
It's like a keyboard on your computer.
Very good. Now that we know that, I'm not going to stay here much longer because I want to talk to you about, but I would like to tell you that all the instruments produce a number of dozens. Those dozens, you call them octaves. Please don't do that anymore because octos are just 8, but the mind really wants to know the truth. And the truth is the number 12 is the only way to learn music. Now that you know 12 is music, I would like to present to you the 4 different colors that we were doing before. This is kind of premature, but I will show it to you anyway. The symmetry of the blue triangle is called diminished. The symmetry of the black triangle is called augmented. The asymmetry of the red chord is called major, and the asymmetry of the green is called minor. And there is a specific reason why the mind chooses the red to be happy, the green to be melancholic, and the other two to be kind of dissonant.
Right.
In Echometry will prove to the world that dissonance is nothing but the division of the number 12 in equal portions. For that, I will show you another beautiful thing that I brought for you today. Okay. Here we have this.
Go this right there.
This is a picture of all the cacophony of the world's music. And of course it looks pretty. I'll tell you what it is. The dot in the middle, that is just a little dot that is black, is the worst sound of the world. It's called monotonia. Monotonia is when you're exposed to one note. One note is if your TV, at the end of the show, they produce one note only to tell you that wake up, there is no more show. It goes...
Station is off the air.
Station is off the air. That's why it is monotony.
Right.
Now, when you take that and you cut it in half, this, people, you call this flat 5. You call it the devil's note. Please don't do that anymore because the Buddhists are going to disagree with you. The devil's note doesn't exist, but look what exists. When you cut something in half, the human intellect will not know to choose left or right. In Greek, we call it dilemma. Dilemma in English. A dilemmatic thought is always divisive, and it's not a very good thing for the brain. The brain hates symmetries when it has to choose. You see, we're democratic by nature. And when the democracy cannot be established, look now, here we have the 2. Here we have the 3. 1, 2, 3. Every portion of this tiny little circle has got 4 spaces. 4, 4, 4, 12. Here we have the 4. When you divide the 2 in half, this is called diminished arpeggio. Diminished. Here we have the number 6. The 6, you call it the whole tone scale. It responds to 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 out of the 13. And okay, and of course there is an 8-note scale that you call it the jazz whole half, whole half, whole half, whole half, whole half, whole half. Right. That is called the jazz scale, the 8-note scale. It's nothing but 8 12s in order. Take 2, leave 1. Take 2, leave 1, and you create a symmetry. Now, the 9-note scale, nobody teaches it because they haven't come up with it. This is the leftovers of a diminished of an augmented arpeggio. When you create a triangle on the sound, the other 9 things you didn't choose, they will create this. And of course, the last one is called chromaticism. Look. And this is what you call a chromatic sound. Now, welcome to the reality. They all look pretty because they're symmetric. But guess what? the ear works exactly the opposite than the eye. So whatever your eye likes in the musical field of echometry will sound terrible. And what your eye does not like is going to sound beautiful. So welcome to my reality. Now we're going to go and talk about what sounds good.
All right.
So welcome to echometry. Here comes the truth. On this object here is what a major chord looks like. A major chord can be understood when you put it over the notes. Here on the right corner here, I'm going to put this over and I'm going to prove to you that a C chord spells C-E-G. I'm going to tell you what happens when you play a G chord. It spells G-B-D. When you spell an F chord, it spells F-A-C. That's a bad word. Never try to pronounce it all together. It's F-A-C. It's not... It's you know what I mean. It's F. Now, did you notice that all the chords are the same? So basically, whoever tries to learn that the major chords are all these specifically different names, they're actually never going to understand the simplicity behind music. So listen to this. This is a C major chord, C, E, G. Guess what? This is a minor chord. It's called C, E flat, G. And this is also a G minor chord. It is G, B flat, D. And this is the F minor chord. It's not a bad word anymore. It's F, A, flat, C. Okay?
A flat now.
Now listen to this.
No longer bad.
The A minor chord though, where is the A minor? Let me find the A. Here, look. The A minor chord, it says ace. Wow. Ace. Now remember, when I was in school, every time I could recognize something out of the spelling of the chords, I was so happy. Finally, the 7 letters meant something to me. Well, don't expect to see any more words out of those 7 letters. This is one of the rare ones. Now listen to this. Did you just understand that the major chord is nothing but, look now here, 158 is the truth about any major chord, and 148 is the truth about any minor chord. Wherever you print this on your instrument, it's going to sound sad, melancholic. Whenever you print this on your instrument, it's going to sound happy. Now, that was simple enough, I hope. Yeah. But let me tell you something. If you understand that this is a point of reference to this, what happens if we play this? What happens if we play this? Life becomes complicated. You're right. Here we go. The 3 sides of a major chord, you call them inversions in school. Please don't. They're all unrelated with one another. They're all how the mind perceives 3 different objects. If you meet 3 different people in an everyday life, your mind will understand them in 3 different orders. So don't call an inversion anything that you don't know what it was when you started the thought. That didn't make too much sense, but I hope you understand. Now remember, these are your major triads. There are 3 of them. I'm going to explain, I'm going to play right after I put this down, I'm going to play you the 3 major ways to make a note happy. And remember, in the back, these are the minor ways to make a note happy. Music is nothing but mathematics. And guess what? The major and the minor feelings are nothing but 2 opposing mathematical orders. Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to prove this for you, because first I'm going to play you the major and the minor chord, but you already know what they are. Okay, so here we go. I'm taking the guitar and I'm playing you a major chord. It doesn't matter where I'm going to play it, but just for the hell of it, I'm going to play it on A. Hey. Some of you call it also La. There is A5/8. A5/8. Here comes A4/8. Here comes 1/5/8 all together now. Here comes 1/4/8 all together now. Do you see that one of them is absolutely powerful and the other one is kind of weaker? Now, can't you tell that this and this and this are absolutely the same?
Yes.
So why have you all your life called them different name?
Well, because I was taught music.
So let me tell you the good
Traditional
news.
music theory.
There is only one minor chord. It just likes to go around. So I'm going to take a minor chord for a walk. Here is the minor chord. This is a minor chord that the number one is on your open string. The first string that you call it E or Mi. Doesn't matter. We call it number one. There's one. 1, 4, 8, 1, 4, 8, 1. I go to number 6 and I do the same thing. 6, 4, 8, 6, 4, 8. I go to number 8 and I do the same thing. 8, 4, 8. And you heard this. 1, 4, 8. 6, 4, 8. 8, 4, 8. Back to 1. See how music is made with the same components. This is a melancholic chord. Melancholia number 1. Melancholia number 6. Melancholia number 8. And back to 1. How many times have you heard this? I'm sad. I'm sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad.
It's a hit. It's a hit,
so sad.
I'm telling you.
I'm so sad. Sad, sad. Sad, so sad. You see, I'm going to give you a different kind of sadness. From 1 sad, I'm going to go to 11 sad. There is 1 sad. 11 sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. 6. I'm so sad because I'm sad and I'm sad. Now look, because I know all of you are smiling and laughing, now I'm going to replace the 4/8 that is the melancholic sound with the 5/8 that is happy. I'm going to do the same thing. There is 1 5/8 happy. I'm so happy. Number 6. Number 8. I'm so happy. Let's go sad. Sad the number 1. Sad the number 6. Sad the number 8. I'm so sad. I'm happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
That's the next fun summer song
so
right
happy.
there.
Now again on 11. I'm so happy. 11. Up to 1 and 11. Now remember if it was before it was 11.
Right.
Now this is 11. 1. Now I just demonstrated to you that music is a joke. But to get the joke, you have to really forget the limping alphabet, because 7 out of 26 letters cannot produce human knowledge. They can only produce human confusion. And as for the Pope's message that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, I have news for you. It has 6 other subliminal messages. The second one is re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re. Mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, mi. Fa, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa. Sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol. La, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. Put it up your, let the Pope keep this for the Vatican.
Wow.
And let's all get along and do something and save the rest of us, because obviously it is not what you thought.
And it's not. I think it's amazing to me how easily you dive into this and explain this. And we've such a great story. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but that's not the end of the story. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface. Because I know, because I went through this, I've gone through all of this, and I tell you, it just keeps getting deeper. All right, we'll see you next week on The Sonic Deep.
Thank you for joining us on The Sonic Deep. Until next week, stay tuned for Music Massage next on Excite Radio.